All right, this is it. We're doing ants. Let's talk about the ant deck because there's a few different ways you can think about it. And doing lower amounts of challenge points, specifically, like especially under 100, I think it's actually a really fun and nice deck to play. But it doesn't scale well, and I want to talk about why that is and what we can try to do to work around its issues. Because yeah, let's look at the cards. We have an O3 skunk. This is just not going to be useful to us. There are people who think the skunk is decent. Its ability, Stinky, gives -1 attack to opponents, but Annoying gives that point right back. Um, you can make a kind of skunk wall and try to hold off while you get to your better stuff, but this is just not going to be reliable when they might have flyers, as we get into the late game, or even in the fairly early game. It's just not going to take that many hits to kill. So I'm out on the skunk. I know there are some people who are like, skunk underrated. I think the skunk is bad. And then we have the ant and the flying ant, or the ant flying ant and the ant queen. The ant queen spawns a worker ant in your hand when it's played. That's its ability, which is an X2 for 1 blood. The X is how many ants you have in play. So if you play the flying ant, it's a 1/1. If you play the flying ant and the ant queen, then the flying ant becomes a 2/1 and the ant queen becomes a 2/3. You then play that worker ant you have. The ant queen's now a 3/3. The flying ant's a 3/1 flyer, and the worker ant is a 3/2, is an X2. Um, and you can see that can scale really quickly, right? Inherently, this deck can produce 9 damage if all 3 of those are alive. The problem is they're pretty low on health, and so they die quick, and it becomes really hard to time it so you actually get them all out usefully if you're under any pressure at all. I play the worker ant turn 1. Nothing can ever, or the flying ant turn 1. Nothing can ever be in front of it. I then need to wait 2 turns to get the ant queen out, and then I can play the ant after that, and I need nothing to have died to get that full 9 damage. If I get 2 of them out, it's only 4. But let's imagine everything goes right. I play 4 ants. I have 16 damage on board. That all works. I beat any normal fight. What about the grizzlies? I have 4 ants. I'm doing 16 damage, but it's all to different lanes. If I use the scissors, I still don't win. As soon as a turn happens, they kill all my ants and I'm just going to lose. I can win with scissors plus pliers, but scissors, pliers, plus I have 4 ants down in every lane is such a big requirement when they're so easy to kill. So, especially once the Grizzly Bears challenge is on, I think this deck has enormous problems and is not good. So, what can we do? Well, if we want to lean into the ant theme, there's 2 things that come to mind. One is to, well, there's one thing that comes to mind: the Totem Carver. We haven't used the Totem Carver often. The Black Goat deck, because both the Black Goat and the Moose Buck are hooved, you can get the elk or hooved head and get abilities on them, and that can be useful. And actually, there's a lot of abilities that can be good for you, because if it's a good attacking ability, it helps your Moose Buck. If it's a good kind of ramping up ability, it helps your Black Goat. So if you were just helping your Moose Buck, there's a lot of abilities that just aren't very useful for the Moose Buck. Similarly, like Double Strike is not useful for the Black Goat. But if you are happy getting something to boost either, there are a lot of abilities the Carver can give you want. In the Mantis God deck, we ended up picking Death Touch up for insects at the end, and we didn't need it, but it was very nice to have. And the Mantis deck is likely to end up very insect-oriented, or at least you're always drawing an insect, so if that gets any ability, it's going to be great. So that's a deck where you might think about going to the Woodcarver. A third deck is the Bones deck, often ends up with a lot of canines. That's a nice deck to end up with the Woodcarver. Not a super priority in any of these. Here, if we can get a good ability on insects, then our ants could become fantastic. We could have this massive cards that all do something really nice. So the Woodcarver, especially if we can get to 2 Woodcarvers quickly, there is a chance to just get a busted deck. And that, in the Ant deck, which is a bad deck because it does not scale for Grizzlies, and really just doesn't scale for the late game, or even mid game, is a huge boon. So if you want to lean into ants, we want to be looking for Woodcarvers. So if we look at the board, actually, we have a Woodcarver immediately, and it's forced. So maybe this is a run where we want to lean into ants. A second ant-related move you can do, and this sounds kind of silly, is to move the Ant Queen ability to the Flying Ant. It reduces the number of ants in your deck, but it does mean you are much more efficient in playing them. You can turn one flying ant, you draw your second ant, you draw a squirrel that turn, you second turn play your other ant, you're hitting for 4 turn 2. And the Ant Queen is just slow and clunky to play and is not that much stronger. So I think that's often a good move, is to move the Ant Queen to the Flying Ant. The third general way to go with this deck is to treat it as, you've just given me a pile of bad cards. The best of them is the Ant Queen, because as we've seen repeatedly, having a mediocre or bad 2-drop in your deck is not nearly as harmful as having a bad 1-drop. So you treat it as, I need to get rid of the skunk, rid of the flying ant, I need some entirely new cards, and I need them to carry me. But then the requirements for beating the first boss are really high. We need to have A, gotten something that can beat the boss, B, probably gotten items to support it being able to beat the boss, and C, hopefully we've started to get rid of some of these bad cards so we don't just die as soon as World 2 comes along because our actual deck isn't any good. So the Ant deck just has a lot of troubles. Having 2 1-drops is really bad. If it came with something other than the skunk, like even if it came with like some terrible 2-drop, it would probably be a better deck because it would be easier to move into some fair hand mechanic abuse. But it's difficult to move into fair hand mechanic abuse. You don't have a lot of time to do so because the deck is weak. And you have no plan for the boss and stuff that kind of actively hurts you getting there. So it's a bad deck. That said, I'm thinking of leaning into the insects because of this early woodcarver on this run. Different runs will be quite different on what we try to strategize for because A, I'll probably be figuring it out, but B, what we go into depends on what comes. All right, these are horrible opening cards. Just really horrible opening cards. Nothing leans into an insect theme. Now, if we do lean into the insect theme, we want our 1-drops to be insects, so whatever we carved can affect insects. So these 1-drops aren't good. Great White is not a 3-drop that is good for beating the boss. If we have pliers plus scissors, I guess it does, but it's rough. Oh, I hate these cards. I really hate these cards. The Pronghorn's slow and clunky. I guess it could give 1 damage somewhere. Let's take it. I don't know. This is a collection of very, very bad cards that are also bad for our deck. I think my favorite card here is probably the Porcupine, but it's just not what we want in our deck. I'm going to take it. This is, I think, already like a 0.1% run to win. There's a second Woodcarver. So if we get really a kind Woodcarver, but what is the chance we see our thing from the Woodcarver? Pretty low, and we didn't see it. We're going to take Undying here, though. If we can get the Insect Head later, Undying Insects is a lot of value, right? We can keep playing them forever. It's still not actually that great, but we're going to have to go for it here. Because they die, we still have to pay their costs. They're not free. We don't have a way to generate squirrels that quickly. So even with like Undying Insects, just the fact that they're not good cards is going to really bring us down. We can't draw a card. Why are you asking me to draw a card? Okay, so the 2-1 Coyote will jump in front of things. So I think I'm going to start with the Skunk. So we only take 1 damage. And then I'm going to use the Porcupine to pick off the Coyote. Actually, we're going to have a funny interaction effect here. Porcupine v Porcupine is a fun battle. Let's see that happen. That's going to be entertaining. And we'll put the flying ant somewhere, and we just have to hope they don't line anything up against it before we have time to get out. Oh, I forgot. That jumps in front of what I just played, so I screwed up horribly. But honestly, if we lose this run, I'm not going to feel bad, because at least we'll get a funny Porcupine-Porcupine interaction, because it gets hit. It automatically hurts them. They automatically hurt us. We hurt them. Porcupine v Porcupine is instant death to both. So I really screwed that up. We can't play anything. We get lethaled. Great. Let's survive this turn. And may as well grab the squirrel while we're here. But yeah, this is horrible. We can't even pick off the coyote with the pronghorns if we wanted to, because it will jump in front of the square we are. let's draw our queen and die. Okay, one run down. That was really impressive, right? Really, really powerful seeming deck right now. Now, I think that was a pretty tough first fight, and I made a horrible mistake to not pick off the Coyote. But often the first fight, a horrible mistake you can survive, which actually doesn't speak to how bad the Ant deck is. It speaks to how bad our initial card options were. But all right, one down. I did make a misplay. That is a randomly generated number, but I did make a misplay. So that was horrible. Would have been fun to see if we could, get something out of the early double woodcarver. That is one of the ways I think you can have a shot. Okay. No. Okay, there's a woodcarver in the second part. So we could stay in ants, but we could be looking to move out of it. Depends what we see here. So there's the question, do we stay in our lane or do we switch lanes? Okay. So the best cards are Mantis, Field Mice, and probably third is Bellringer, Kraken. Mantis is an insect, so it doesn't help our ants. Ants are only boosted by other ants. But if we get an insect totem, Mantis is helped. Field Mice is obviously just really good. And the reason I like the Bellringer is because on the far left, it does 4 damage, and that's a plier and a scissors away from winning. And you might say, I already said the ants could get up to 4 power, and that's a scissors and or Turner slash scissors and a pliers away from winning, and that's not very good. But that's because I have to keep 4 things alive to do it. Here, I just need 1 thing alive to do it, so it's 4 damage about as cheaply as you can get it. It can't be boosted by the campfire, which is a definite weakness it has compared to, say, the grizzly bears, but it's a lot cheaper. So I think those are the only 3 cards worth considering. Some people do Lammergeier tricks, but I'm not good at those. So Field Mice, Bellringer, Mantis. Now, I think our deck's already kind of slow and clunky. Everything costs 1, nothing costs bones, everything doesn't have much impact for what it does, doesn't stay alive, so I think I don't want to take 2 2-drops. So the question is, do I want Mantis and Field Mice or Mantis and Bellringer? I think Field Mice is probably more useful long term, but Bellringer gives us something closer to having an answer to the boss. I'm not even sure what we'd put Field Mice on. I'm going to take Bellringer here. I think Field Mice might be the right pick. I'm not sure here. But I'm thinking, how can we beat the things we need to beat? And that gives us a little closer to it. Campfire is terrible for the ant deck, right? You can't boost any of the X stats, and we picked up the Bellringer, which is also an X stat, meaning it's based on some feature of the position, not some inherent. So if we went to the stat boost, we could boost Mantis's attack if we get attack, or we could boost Bellringer's defense and make it hold on a little longer. That might be the best use of that. If we go to the Sigil, I didn't take Fecundity, so we could get rid of the Skunk. We could move the Skunk's ability to some other card, probably the Ant Queen, that we just don't intend to interact with much, and we just get rid of the Skunk, don't have to worry about the Skunk. Or we could take the Pack Rat. I have no idea. Getting rid of the Skunk makes us more reliable. Upping the Mantis's attack could, create a powerhouse down the road. It's possible if we see attack, we should try to go for 2+2. It's possible we should even try to go for +2 on the Skunk, because if the Skunk is a 2/3 for 1, it's good, and if the Skunk is out of our hand, that's good too, out of our deck. So, if we go to the Campfire and it's attack, then we could use it on the Skunk, and the downside is it's just as good as having gotten rid of it to the altar, and the upside is we get a 2/3 for 1, which is genuinely a good card. If we get the plus to health, then I'm less enthused. We have then a 50% chance to get rid of the Skunk. So there's a 50%, if we divide that into 4 quadrants, there's a 50% chance we lose the Skunk either way, and it's the same as going to the altar because I don't care about moving its ability. A 25% chance we get a 2/3 Skunk, and a 25% chance we get an 0/7 Skunk. Honestly, this deck sucks, so it's worth taking coin flip risks. So I would rather go to the Campfire than the altar. What about items? Do I care about Pack Rat? Item generation is probably kind of mandatory. I should probably take the pack rat. I don't want to, though. All right, we're taking the pack rat. Let's try to be responsible here. We want to win, right? I'm trying to beat this in as few runs as possible so we don't suffer that long on the Ant deck. Now, I still think that's going to, on average, take me like 20 runs because this deck sucks. But let's give ourselves chances. Okay, so we'll play the skunk. We can get new items in a sec, so I should use these items. They're probably going to be item generating. You can play the skunk to block a hit and then sacrifice it later, but we could also just go immediately into the bell ringer. And I think that's what I'm going to do. We're just going to lethal them quickly. 4 power. So the bell ringer's power is how close it is to the bell. So if it's next to the bell, it's 4. The furthest away, it's only 1. But a 4/3 for 2. Like, the wolf is a... We've talked about this. The wolf is a perfectly reasonable, solid impact card. And that's a 3/2. A 4/2, a 4/3 is significantly more power than the wolf. The game internally very clearly thinks that 1 power is worth about 2 health. So 4/3 is just a lot better than... Ooh, Gold Pick is actually decent to take in ants because it will give you a random insect most likely. I should probably go to the wood carver here, but whatever. I hate the wood carver. Also, you can't... Ooh, fecundity on that's quite nice. You can't save scum cheat these, by the way. I have tried because I've done a lot of save scum cheating on this game before I got reasonable at it. All 3 of the things you can click have the same outcome, so I always click the left one because left is best. Okay, Pliers gives us outs to beat the boss with our 4/3. And we got Scissors. We now have a shot at the first boss. Okay. Now I should actually care about this run. I really didn't, because it's really hard to be invested in any run where you think you have no chance to win. But if we can beat the first boss, we have some time to work stuff out. And we have ways to beat the first boss. Okay. The Pronghorns has flying, so it won't hit our flying ant. That said, where do I want to put this? I'm not sure. I don't know if it matters. Let's go here. We draw another flying ant. We can get a massive flying ant. Right now, we're slightly losing the race, but as soon as we get a second ant out, we're winning the race. One thing to say about ants is there's not a single 0 or 1 drop in the game that has 2 power. And as soon as we get out multiple ants, our 1 drops do have 2 power, and they can get up to 3. So there is a serious reason why ants have a case to be good, because you can get more value out of 1 drops than any other deck. The problem is it's really hard to upgrade. And because they have X power, right? We can't... The only things that help are like double strike type things. Nothing else can up their power. Campfires can't help. And we just need them to stay alive, and it's so easy for them to die. So here, where our opponents have flying, we're actually super pumped to see that because it means they can't pick off our ants. And if we both just build up big masses, our big mass wins. A lot of decks hate seeing flying because there's a chance they just do more damage than we can block. This deck loves seeing flying because if neither of us can kill each other's stuff, all our weak stuff suddenly is not so bad. I think we go left. Campfire isn't that exciting. We already have good items, and I actually want to go to the wood carver. And the tribal square, if it gives insects, kind of fits what we're doing. It doesn't give insects. All right, what do we want to see? When in doubt, I usually pick reptile, because I like the skink, and I always forget what the other reptiles are. It's like the bullfrog. Maybe let's go canine today. Dire wolf pup. Okay, That's a backup answer that can also do 4 damage to a square. So if we can keep our scissors and our pliers through the next fights, and I think that was another woodcarver coming out, then we have a shot. Bifurcated strike. So if we can get an insect head, we actually might be able to do decent damage. If this second woodcarver is generous to us, we might be in good shape to actually lean into our insect team. Okay. So this is a pretty easy. Skunk blocks the coyote, so we don't take that 2 damage. But we do get lethal next turn. We're going to have to use an item. That's a disaster. But there's nothing else we can do. Yeah, we're taking 5 damage next turn. All right, we have to take a squirrel. The Kraken would only clear its lane. If we put it center right, it would do 2 damage, and we'd lose. Not only would we lose, we'd lose even if we used the pliers. So I could put the pack rat far left. Then I'd have to scissors. I could put the pack rat center right, but we'd still have to scissors. Yeah, there's no play where we don't have to scissors because we can only block 1 lane. So I should start by scissors, and they do at least 3 damage. Yeah, there's no way to save the scissors. This is terrible. Okay, now we're definitely not getting lethaled, so I think we respawn an item rather than do maximal damage. And we pick up the coyote, and we feel very sad. That's not it. That's not it at all. We're going to have to use one of these and draw a new item at some point to have a chance. But I don't think we want to do so yet. All right, we don't die this turn. All right, I'll just use one. Just in case we have an item that I didn't notice on the map, I want to be able to redraw. I don't think we... Do we want to draw both? No, we can't redraw both because we need to draw something that kills. Or like a turner or a scissors. We need to draw. We'll do the way that outpaces most, which is to go center left. We don't kill the thing, but we get 1 more attack out of it. I think that's right. With 3 health, they're not going to throw something at this that kills it 1 turn, so I don't mind putting it in an empty lane. It sucks we had to use the scissors. I was getting all optimistic for a moment. And like seeing flyers, as I said, is fine here. If we get our good flying ant that makes another one, we're often in good shape there, but it's bad hand. All right, we don't have items before the boss. We're on the wrong path. We couldn't have seen that from when we made a decision of which path to go on. And we had good items, so we do. Probably bones here. We have nothing that's bones cost right now, so that seems like a fairly cheap resource. All right, so what we need to do is hopefully we can kill the pack mule and see if it... First, it would be great if they gave us something nice. Insect head. All right. Okay, so we actually got a really good totem. All our insects have bifurcated strike. So we have a very good totem, right? If we look at this, ant queen, flying ant, mantis. Mantis already has it, I guess. But all the ants are helped by this. Also mealworm, I think, is, but obviously it doesn't attack, so that's irrelevant. But this means that if we could clear the lane in front of this, we don't need the pliers anymore because any of the ants hit the lanes next to them, as well as the mantis. So we have lots of paths. We just need our pack rat to spawn a good item during this fight. Then we have a chance. It's like 20% or something, but we have a chance. All right, what are we doing here? The wolf pup also doesn't quite do it. Do I want to get rid of the skunk? Probably need to get rid of the skunk at this point. Just a bad card. I was thinking moving Pack Rat's ability to the Mealworm, but actually like having 2 power is pretty useful. Maybe it isn't. We have a lot of ants, and some of our ants generate more ants. Hmm. So get rid of Skunk, be more reliable, or put the Pack Rat on something cheaper, make it easier to get items. I hate the Skunk. Goodbye, Skunk. And I guess we'll put that on. Whatever we put it on is something that won't be able to get more abilities later. So I think we'll put it on the Ant Queen because we're more likely to want to stick something nice on this flying ant. Because just 1-drops are cheaper and we're going to be playing them more. Yeah. So basically, we need either the Pack Mule to give us something incredible. I'm not sure what that could be. Or we need our Pack Rat to give us something incredible. We do know what that could be. Scissors or Turner. And if we get either of those, we have a chance to win this, but we're most likely to lose. I don't know, maybe 25% to win this. And by win this, I just mean beat this fight. I don't mean beat the challenge. Okay, we survived the turn, so let's pass. Great to see the mole. Love to get damage in on the Pack Mule. So I guess we'll play our Mantis this turn. Pick off some things. The mole will block lanes for them, that's great. And we can hit the Pack Mule this way, which the Flying Ant cannot do. It's nice to get the bosses in the easiest order. Maybe the optimal order for us would have been Angler first this time, but it's okay. That's great to see. Let's try to get the Pack Rat out. So the Pack Mule is going to move back to the left. We got to figure out what we want to do about the Coyote coming down and the Wolf, but the Wolf doesn't come down this turn. I'm gonna get a second one of these. So our Mantis will die. So if we attack the center left lane with 3 damage, but we can't get to 3. I'm not sure I should play anything. I'm not sure there's anything I can play that helps our board spot. Yeah, because if the Coyote comes down, that will block the Pack Mule from moving, which blocks the Wolf coming down. And we don't die this turn. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass. And then next turn we'll play the Pack Rat. Kill the Coyote, which will let the Pack Mule move. But we have to kill the Coyote. I guess we main deck. We can already play our cards. I think we have to do this. We have to hope we get our draw. Come on, Scissors or Turner. Hourglass. Oh, I didn't think about that. Okay. So we have a path. We have a path. We need to clear a lane. So because we have bifurcated strike on our insects, Ant Queen's still alive. If we our last 2 cards in the deck, I think are Ant Queen and Bellringer Kraken. We put Bellringer Kraken far left and Ant Queen next to it. Or any ant with we have 2 other ants. We need 2 ants, so 2 flying ants, say, and Bellringer. Bellringer's far left. It hits for 4, The flying ant next to it hits for 2 more because we have 2 ants out. That's 6 damage. That clears the lane, and we've used Hourglass. We hit again into the empty lane. We win. We have an out. There's a way we win this now. Yeah. We need at least 2 ants and the bell ringer. We have 3 ants in our hand. I don't think this means anything for us this turn. It means we can use the pliers. If we need the pliers, we don't have to keep them ready to be used. So I guess I'll draw a squirrel this turn. I'm just gonna have to block the lane on the left so we don't die. I think I'll block it with our crappy ant. I wish we killed the pack mule this turn, but next turn we'll have to do. Because whenever we kill it, we get like basically a squirrel and a rabbit, maybe. Everything's stuck. I think we main deck mealworm into flying ant, or do we squirrel into flying ant? I guess we squirrel into flying ant. Now we only have. Maybe I should have just chumped with mealworm. Because we need 2 ants. Yeah, this was dumb. We still have 2 ants in our deck, so we have the ant queen now. So I didn't throw away the match. Yeah, probably will, but I haven't yet. Now the wolf will move. Yes. Okay, we only get 1 squirrel out of this. Okay. None of that's useful to us, but that's okay. The wolf will move in front of the pack rat. So we have that dealt with now. We don't have to chump more on that wolf. Main deck. There's our ant queen. We will need to play the ant queen. So we just play it now. But the opossum was helpful. So we're going to play the ant queen. We're going to sack the pack rat into another ant. We need them to kill the boulder. They're going to kill the boulder because we need space for more sacrifices. No, that doesn't do what I want. All right, I just take a hit this turn. Yeah, we pass the turn. That gets rid of the boulder. Everything else stays still. Yeah. I need to draw the bell ringer. Are we lethal this turn? We are not lethal this turn. Do I just pass? How much mana do we need? We have 2 mana on board. We need 2 for the Kraken, and then 2 for the Ant Queen, and 1 for the Ant. We need 5, and we have 3 because we have 4. So if we draw Squirrel next turn, we're good. We don't die this turn, so I think we pass. We go to 1. And we draw Squirrel. We get the setup. With the bell ringer here on the far left. Then we can mealworm into Ant Queen. We put that here. It doesn't really matter, but we need one of the ants center left. And then we opossum into the worker ant or the flying queen. It doesn't matter. We're just trying to get a boost to the ant queen. Yep. Now that kills the wolf. It was good to have a non-flyer center left to make sure the wolf was killed. But I think we lethal them anyway. We're doing, what, 10 damage? Yeah, so we can't not lethal them. And then we hourglass, and I may as well throw out the pliers just to get a little overkill, but also so that at the start of the next map, if we get items, we can refill both slots. And I guess for overkill, we should play our final ant. So got to remember to click everything. We're going to take an extra turn after this one. We're going to use the pliers. We're going to put out the worker ant. Yeah. Oh man, this was another one I'm proud of. A lot of this is just like, is there a win condition? Right? Those are the high equity decisions. Is like this kind of, is there a win condition spot? And there was. Could not remember what the final card in the deck was. So we do 7, 10, 13 damage here. I mean, this is making ants look really good. I swear they're not. So when we promptly lose at the start of the second map, that will hopefully prove my case. I don't want to lose. I'd really love to be done with ants quickly and move on to the final nightmare. I think ants are bad. But if you get really lucky on Totem Carver, which we did, note this was not winning a 50-50. This was like winning a 10-90, right? To get both a good ability. I'm going to take the Warren. I love the Warren. I can't not take the Warren. It's not in me to not take the Warren here. We're not doing a true hand mechanic, and it's such a good card. Also, I think it is an insect. Okay, we do get an early item. We've entered the wetlands. Okay, so this is the angler. I should really, as I said, pay more attention there. Alright, ants we're happy to see, and Warren we're happy to see. And Tadpole's not so bad either. It's probably ants. Let's take advantage of Bifurcated Strike. Okay, it's gotta be items. Again, Campfire really not relevant to this deck. Getting rid of a card. We already got rid of the skunk. There's not actually anything in our deck we're really angry about now. So let's get an item. Combining cards, not so good in this deck. It doesn't have much upside. Alright, Flyers gives us some outs. Magical Bleach, we could fly. Our flying ants can outbeat the boss with Magical Bleach. Right, I have no idea which direction we're going to go here. Because the Mycologist is nothing to us. Right? Combining our flying ants together just makes it an X2 instead of an X1. That's garbage. So that's just irrelevant. Goobert, what card are we trying to duplicate? There's not like a good card in our deck. There's just not a bad card in our deck anymore. So we'll probably go right to the Sacrificial Altar and like put the pack rat on something cheaper or something like that. Weird. Alright, so they're going to be mass ants as well. Hopefully they're more bees than ants, because bees don't boost the way ants do. Right, not an amazing draw. Right, that is an ant, and we can't kill that ant, which is rather annoying. I think I'm going to pass. I think I'm going to pass. Because if we can get the worker queen out, we could block a lane with it. I was hoping. I can't really now. Because it has annoying. No, it has Stinky as well. We put Stinky on it. Yeah. No, but we don't want their skink to move, so we don't actually want Bifurcated Strike to hit that. The right way to do this. So there, I do 1, I take 3. It's just so slow. If I go center left, I do 2, and I take 3. And we're not losing the race as badly. I'm going to put Pack Rat center left. I should use the flyers while we're here. I might have to use the Magical Bleach. Removing their abilities would be pretty helpful here. I think I wait a turn so it would also hit the Mud Turtles. Because this turn we're only going -1. We got the Scissors. That's nice. So if we have the Scissors, we don't need the Magical Bleach. So I think I can use the Magical Bleach. The Pack Rat will also double kill Flying Ants there. We're only taking 2 this turn. So we survive. So let's Bleach. That also means I don't have to worry about hitting the Skink later. Actually, I could put the Worker Ant over here, because it would just hit a square for free, and start my Worker Ant synergies. I'm having trouble calculating the bifurcated strike situations. Oh, that doesn't kill the Flying Ant. Good thing we don't have any more ants out for them, because I actually took more damage here than I expected to. So we're taking 3. That one goes underwater. Yeah, that's annoying. Okay, that was missed on. Now we take 4 a turn. But I don't have to use the Scissors yet. We survive this turn. Survive this turn, and they can't deal more. If we block the Mud Turtle, they can't deal more damage to us. So we're okay as long as we block the Mud Turtle next turn. Just hanging on. So I can play the Ant Queen to block the Mud Turtle. But I don't actually really want to kill the Mud Turtle. And I don't. I kill the Skink. Is that an ant? That is an ant. So they'll do 4. But our ant will do 1 extra, so we'll do 4 as well. So we survive. I could sack the Pack Rat into the Worker Ant. Is that lethal? We'd do 3 with the first Worker Ant. The second one would kill the Stump and the Skink. And the other would do 3. That's not lethal. Alright. No need to do that yet, then. I think we do it next turn because I believe we are not lethal to this turn. I believe we take 4, and we did 4. But we have a problem. Flying Ants with underwater is very annoying to face for us. But I think this turn we killed. Because we do 9 just from the ants. Yeah, so we're going to draw a squirrel, and we do 11. We survive. This is not giving me confidence that we're going to be able to beat map 3. But the Scissors is enough to beat map 2. And this was a tricky fight as well. It's actually, I mean, like, I know I'm seeming like a downer, but it's pretty fun to do fights where you have to make decisions. I'm just getting used to winning now, so not winning feels worse. But making interesting decisions. We don't care about Goobert. We don't care about the Mycologist. This is such a weird deck to play. All the normal kind of things you value are flipped on their head. Alright, we don't care about elks. We do care about insects. Let's take the insect. Corpse maggots, sure, it's an insect. And if we attach it to something else, we make that cheaper to play. We actually probably will do so. Right? Because it would be really nice to get out. Oh, I also really want to put the Pack Rat on the Warren. Yeah. Get a lot of item generation. And then later we can put the Corpse Maggots on the Direwolf Pup. That's actually a really nice thing to put on the Direwolf Pup, because normally it's hard to place, because if it comes down and it's attacked, it dies immediately. But if you put the Corpse Maggots on it, it will come down in reaction to the opponent attacking at the end of their turn, and then at the start of your turn it evolves, and it's good. So that's real upside. I think I'm going to go Pack Rat onto the Warren, because I think I care more about items, but we have a good item right now. So okay, let's go Corpse Maggot into Direwolf. I don't want to put it on the bell because uh, the bell is important to place, right? We need it on the left side. That's often our win condition, right? Our plan for the boss right now is bell ringer on the left, and then an ant next to it, and then use scissors. But it would be nice in the future to move the pack rat to the warren, just so it can spawn items when it spawns the bunny. It's so cool that you can combine abilities in this game, and yeah, it's just really, really great game. Okay, this we're gonna take 3 this turn, but we'll be doing 8 momentarily. The double flying ants are actually just gonna go off. Yeah, we're gonna do 10 on turn 2 here, because that's gonna do 4. When we place our second, it goes up to 8, but we'll place a third next turn, and because it's all flying, they can't block it. This is actually a really powerful opening hand. So I've been really down on ants, but they are very good if you get like fecundity and you have a totem that just boosts all of them. Huge value to getting a totem, worth taking really big risks to try to get the totems. I'm so lucky. Like, what are the odds within 2 totems, one of them would have the insect boost? You see 1 or 2 of the heads each totem out of 5. So call it an average of 1.5 per head. So it's like 3.5 out of 5 squared is the math that you wouldn't get one either time. So that's 0.7 squared. So it's about 50-50 whether you see the totem over 2. Okay, that's actually better odds than I thought. And all right, we don't care about fires, and we can see there's more choices up ahead if we go right. And I love going for the busted cards, so we're doing this. It's about 50-50 chance that you've seen an insect over 2, but then the odds that you've seen a good ability has got to be like 1 in 5 or something. All right, so we're definitely taking the sigil one because we always take the sigil one. Note that the way it counts attack is actually smart. If you get multiple ants, it will count it as passing the attack check, right? It will realize, oh, that's attack is actually 2, not 1. That said, of course, we're taking sigils. We just have to hope we don't get the worker ant. And we didn't. Oh, but actually, the X for its attack, the number of ants, is a sigil, so it would have counted. Okay, Mantis actually not that good for us because those abilities suck, and it already has bifurcated strike. I think I'm gonna take the stupid River Snapper. 1/6 that very slowly grows, very very slowly. All right, we actually don't really want that another wood carver, but we don't really care about the mycologist doubling cards either because we want more ants in our deck, not less. It would turn 2 into 1. So I think we have to stay on the right, but we don't actually care about that wood carver, weirdly. I mean, we have a slight chance to draw something better than what we have, but I really like what we have. Is any of this relevant to us? The pliers give us more ways to beat the boss, but I think the scissors is enough. I think the more likely way for us to get in trouble is we just can't play our cards. I'm going to take the squirrel. Ooh, and we get a sack altar. I like seeing a sack altar. I'm glad we went left. Or went right. Alright. This has been the insect world for our opponents as well. Can we get 2 ants? We can. We got our best card. Which is actually our best card. Holy shit. How much damage are they threatening? They're going to do 5 and then I'll evolve? Oh my god. So we have lethal if we play a squirrel. Right? I'm just going to take the lethal. We could figure this out and count this out and try to make sure we do this precisely and maybe we hold there. But this flying ant with fecundity and with bifurcated strike single-handedly can do 8 in the air if we can play 2 with both of them. So we're not going to mess around with a fight that looks really scary to me. I think that's a kind of decision I've gotten better at. I used to basically be like, I cannot use items until the boss, or like I have to save items, and now I'm much freer about their use. I think we'll go for the tribal card. We don't really care about fair hand mechanic or anything. Maybe I should have gone the other way and tried to get a bone card, but we're still just happy to get insects. Yeah, another flying ant. Wonderful. Flying ant actually good this time. A rarity. Genuinely rare for this deck to come together this well. And I still kind of think we're going to lose. Is Death Touch better than what we've got? No, it isn't. We'll take it, but we're very firmly in Bifurcated Strike. We're not trying to kill things, we're trying to just do a ton of damage. So really, if I could keep boosting my ants, if we could move a good ability over to the ants, that would be great. My goal was to put Pack Rat onto the Warren. Now, putting Warren onto one of the flying ants actually is kind of helpful too, because it means we can play multiple ones at once. That might be better. That's weird to me, but I think that might be better. Yeah, I want to make sure our ants land well. This too crazy. But like this means if we put the Warren on a flying ant, then we play that flying ant, it creates a rabbit, which we can use to land another one, which is so often going to be lethal. We have the two bad flying ants. I like the idea of making them better, or making one of the worker ants better, but either way, we draw two ants, we're good. And if I put the Pack Rat on the Warren, the idea is we get a ton of item generation. That's also tempting. I'm going to put the Warren on the ant. I'm going to say our strategy here is ant focused. And actually viably so for once. Because Bifurcated Strike is one of the best attack abilities. Yeah. Weird. Strange play to me. But I think right, otherwise I wouldn't make it because I'm not trying to make fancy plays, I'm trying to make correct plays. We got the boss in the right order. That's another thing I've gotten better at. Showing discipline, right? If I think a decision is correct, but I'm excited about another one, I try to make the correct decision, which was not always the case. But it's easier to do that the more you've played because the less stuff seems new and unfamiliar. But this game has so many ways to combine abilities, there's always going to be something new and unfamiliar. All right, so we got our new wonderful flying ant. So we can just lethal them here. We shouldn't, because we can lethal them here. Should I just take the win? So here's my idea. We put a flying ant far left. That makes a rabbit. We put another flying ant center right. They'll each have 2 attack. So one of them will do 2 because it only has 1 square to hit. The other does 4. We do 6 damage. We draw. We draw a squirrel. We play another flying ant. We have 3 ants on the board. They each have 3 power. We scissors the center left square for them. And we have 6 damage facing them. Yeah, I'm just going to take lethal. I often use this fight to like build up because you have time in the first phase, right? The first phase is usually about, oh, the rabbit has Bifurcated Strike. I did not realize that would happen. That is obviously useless to us, but it's kind of funny. But yeah, we may as well just, we don't need to take time to beat the boss, and this reduces the chances that I do something very stupid, right? If I don't try to be fancy. But if I've miscounted, I've just lost, right? All right, let's not misclick. Let's click the right deck. Put out a flying ant. Man, flying ant's looking so good today. And scissors. Center left. And that's it. All right, that was a very quick boss. I think that's the fastest we've done one, even in like Mantis or Black Goat decks, which are generally much faster decks. What if ants are way better than I thought? They can't be. They can't be. You just need the totem to come right for this to work. This deck sucks. I mean, these cards are bad. You just need the deck to work. I stand by that. Probably another Corpse Maggots. Um, we haven't combined the other one, but also it's no, we did combine the other one. Yeah, let's take another Corpse Maggot. It's an insect, which is nice. It can make other cards we pick up good in the future. Just a very pleasant card to have in your deck. A good like enabler, right? With the Corpse Maggots, you have future options. And we're somehow on World 3 with the stupid ants. We don't need to go to the Woodcarver. Sacrificial Altar would be nice, but it's got to be items, right? Easy items. Okay. 3 abilities. Yeah, we're just going to pick that one. Everything in our deck has abilities, therefore everything will count for this. Even I think the middle one counts for this. No, it doesn't, but we got 2 from the Flying Ant. So we got there. All right. A Goofy Skink. The abilities don't really help. A Goofy Wolf Cub. Or Useless Direwolf. Okay, so it's the Skink or the Wolf Cub. I kind of like landing something that blocks up the board when our ants die. But I really don't want this to be the only 1-drop we draw in the Skink. Because if something dies, the Skink replaces it, and then it like leaves stuff on the board, dodging around, and it's just kind of goofy. The Wolf Cub is actually like significantly higher impact, right? We land a 1/1, puts another card in our hand. In a turn, it's a 3/2. There's another 3/2 coming. I'm going to take the Skink, though. I think the Wolf Cub is the better card, but I think putting stuff on the board that hops around and doesn't die, that can be sacked into our key ants, is actually where we want to be. All right, definitely the Turner. And, ooh. So normally I'd take the Scissors over the Hourglass because the Scissors give you more. It's a shame you can't look at your deck when you're in this screen. But the Scissors give you more outs versus the bosses. However, the Hourglass gives you a ton more outs on random fights. We're on World 3, and if we're smart, the Turner means we should be able to beat the third boss. So I'm going to take the Hourglass because we already have an item that beats the boss, and I think we're actually more scared of random encounters. We have 3 of them before the boss, and World 3 random encounters, like, you're going to see, like, double striking turkey vultures or shit like that, and I just need a way to not lose immediately. Yeah. Like, there's a single striking turkey vulture, but there's going to be double striking, or there's a decent chance of double striking ones. Sadly, this means they don't kill anything, so we don't get our Direwolf Pup out for free. But we're not getting outpaced by much here. We do 2, they do 3. Okay, they do 5. That's a problem. So what do we want to draw? If we draw the Dire Wolf. No. What we should do is we should play the Kraken. And then we'll heal 2 and we'll survive the Raven. Yeah. Disciplined moves. And we shouldn't have to use an item this fight. Now, if they put down another big threat this turn, that sucks because the mole does block 4 damage next turn. But we're currently even on damage on the board. That's wonderful. Oh, fantastic. So that will come down and kill the Flying Ant, but we get the Dire Wolf in play automatically after that. So that's just great. Yeah, so we can pass, we do 2, we take 2, we're good. Okay, 1 fight down. This is going to be a very scary third world because we had a very scary first and second world, and that's not going to abate. Okay, the Alpha's not great to see, but the Elkfawn will move in its way, and we will have evolved our Dire Wolf Pup. So I think we win this turn, because we do 8. And in fact, may as well do a little more. Whew. Yeah. So I think the Hourglass pick may not end up being needed, but I think was a really important pickup because it's just so easy for these fights to go wrong. And like the Scissors can't save you. if the thing hasn't reached the board yet. If they have this massive stuff coming that's going to lethal you, you can't scissors any of it until it's in the 4 squares of the board. What do we want here? We don't have any pelts, which is what's drawing me back from immediately going left. But I don't want to go to the mycologist. The mycologist is bad for us. We don't have an items used, so we don't need to pick up the skinning knife. So let's go left. Let's see if we can get a better card than we got off the last cave. Though it wasn't so bad. Okay, let's do power. It's fun. If we get 2 ants, that's enough, right? 1, 3, 4. All right, we'll take it. Let's see our cards. Okay, it's an ant. Horrible abilities, but it's an ant. Okay. Okay. Let's look at our deck. We have very little bone costs. The corpse maggot comes out on its own. The mealworm is very cheap. This is a nice bat, right? It gives a serious boost to the stuff next to it. It evolves, so it actually can do something itself. But the cuckoo can block a lane and help other stuff come out. But it does make it a little less likely we draw ants. Blocking a lane is so useful. I'm going to go the cuckoo. Really tempted by that bat, though. Kind of weird that even though we're in ants, I still didn't want the ant queen. Either that's a really bad decision on my part, or it's to say the ant queen is not very good. And you may have noticed all our wins have been to do with the other ants, right? The ant queen has not been a key card. It was once because it spawned an ant and we needed one more ant, but in general, it is not what we're looking for. God, I forgot we had this stupid river snapper. I think the answer is the skink, because then the thing it leaves behind has its stats boosted too. Yeah, let's go the skink here. Right, so now when it sheds its tail, it leaves an O4. And that's much more likely to survive, and that's much more likely to be useful sacrificial fodder. Okay, we get a pack rat up ahead. I really don't want to use an item, but it's nice to know that if we do use items here. All right, elks have death touch. Not ideal, but hopefully we just get a 1-turn kill or something. That's probably not going to do it. Okay. So, those are going to move about. So let's put the worker ant on the left. No. They're going to move to the far left and the far right. So there's nowhere I can move that dodges all their stuff. Oh, I should have put the skink down. But I was thinking that comes down for free. That was dumb. That was really dumb. I'm going to put it here so it doesn't die immediately, so at least it's a blood for next turn. Let's hope they don't play too much, but they're going to play so much. This is World 3. What are we doing here? Okay. So one thing I was thinking of is we can potentially turn here. If we turn, then we steal one of their elk fawns, and we kill their other elk fawn. Yeah, let's just make sure we don't die here. It sucks to use an item. Really bad for us to use an item. But I wanna... We have item coming up. Our worker ant actually lives this hit and kills their elk fawn this turn. Like, everything lines up much better if we do this. Yeah, we get our skink out as well. Our Skink's dodge won't help much, but I guess we lethal them this turn. That was ugly. That's not how you want to be doing it. I didn't see another way that didn't feel like maybe we didn't lose next turn, but that we were in huge trouble coming soon. And in World 3, they just keep flooding stuff. Every turn, something big's going to hit. I didn't know how else to deal with it. Now here, I wish we had the scissors left instead of the hourglass. Maybe I should have used the hourglass, not that. I didn't. I thought this was so clean, I should go for this one, this version. But we have no pelts, so they give us teeth. Wasted square for us. But that's okay. Our deck's pretty good, right? We're not, unless we run out of damage on the final boss, we're in pretty decent shape. Another hourglass. Okay, 2 hourglasses must be able to beat the boss, right? That can't be a problem. Huh. Not sure which way we're going to go next. We'll have to think about that after. All right, more Elks with Death Touch. I guess it's better than some other things, like Double Strike. Okay. Most of this is not very helpful. That's a lot coming at us. Okay. So we only take one. I'm going to get a Flying Ant on the board. I'm going to put it here. We get another Flying Ant in our hand. So we do 6 next turn. So I think we lethal them because we have flying damage. So I think we just win with our Flying Ants. This... Oh, I even forgot about that. That's excellent. But this Flying Ant has been so good in this deck. And it's needed multiple extra abilities, right? It needed Fecundity and Bifurcated Strike to go off like this. But I think it has won a lot of fights before they began. Gotten a lot of, not 1-turn kills necessarily, though we got at least one of those, but 2-turn kills have been really its bread and butter. So maybe we want to duplicate that. Maybe more of those is the key for us. But I don't want to go to the Mycologist, because then we have to combine some of our Flying Ants, and I do not want to do that. Yeah, I think that's bad. So let's go left. Let's go left. Hopefully we get the insect option here. Insect. All right, insect it is. Beautiful. Beautiful. Best card we could have seen. Oh, what a strange deck. The previous time I beat Flying Ants, I didn't actually get the Carver to go off. I basically just moved into a different deck entirely. So hopefully we can beat it here, but... Okay, so we could put the Corpse Maggots on something. Make it easier to get Pack Rat out. I'm not sure that really matters that much for us. Like, the Corpse Maggots is just, like, a pretty good card. It has Bifurcated Strike. So maybe we put the items on something cheap, or maybe we get rid of the Mantis. Mantis isn't doing much. But what would we put it on? Everything is Bifurcated Strike already. Maybe we put it on this? But this, it's really nice that it hits its lane. Okay, so I was thinking Pack Rat onto the Mealworm. That was my go-to play. But I actually think the Mantis is the worst thing we can draw right now. So maybe it should be Pack Rat onto Mantis? Or maybe I just should get rid of Mantis even if it's something that, like, already has that ability. Just because all my other 1-drops are better for us than Mantis. Yeah, let's get rid of Mantis. Oh, we're not moving the ability, we're just getting rid of a card. I'm dumb. But that's great too, because getting up to 1 free bones is excellent. 1 free bone, because it means 1 sacrifice lets us play the Mealworm. Ah, here's the sacrificial. There we go. We have to get rid of another card. Now the question is, do we corpse maggots or do we get pack rat cheaper? Well, they kind of do the same thing, right? Corpse maggot on pack rat makes pack rat cheaper. Pack rat on mealworm makes pack rat cheaper. So really the question is, would we rather have corpse maggots or pack rat? Both of them coming into play by hopping in. And corpse maggots hits 2 squares already, so I'm not sure pack rat is any better. But I do like one lane a little more than divided up lanes. You can control it a little more. It doesn't depend as much where it is. So okay, we'll put the corpse rat maggots onto the pack rat, I guess. Because especially if it's going to land on random squares, it's often going to be far left or far right, where it'll be a little lower impact to have bifurcated strike. It's nice having 2 hourglasses. We're definitely going to have to use probably both of them here, but maybe just one. If we get enough of an ant mass, we can win with just one. I can't believe this has gone so smoothly. Every one of these recordings has gone so much better than I expected it to. It's been incredibly lucky, honestly. Okay, this is very annoying because they hit our ants back. So I'm going to start with the cuckoo center left because we can block up a lane. That's wonderful. Please be nice. Wonderful. Now we could play the flying squirrel, the flying ant, but the flying ant just dies as soon as it hits the frog, so I'm going to pass now. We're only getting outpaced by 1 damage a turn, and they can't get anything else on board. So I can just kind of sit and build up for a bit. Let's draw a real card. Okay, the skink. Skink's interesting. Play the skink. No, because I don't want to open up any lanes. So I guess I could put it far left. We'd hit them, they'd hit us. We'd never get the upside, and we'd end up opening up that lane. Let's do it when we've taken a little more damage. Because we don't need to do it this turn. We go to 2, then we up to 3, then we go down to 1, and then we'll play the skink. So we can keep drawing. Okay. And when the skink will kill the skink will kill the leaping trap, and then it will be replaced by the direwolf pup, which will be unopposed. We're fine with that. So I think this turn we're gonna have to play the skink. So let's draw a squirrel. And so one nice thing about this boss is because you can block up lanes. It's really important to block up lanes smartly against this boss. If it can overwhelm, but if you can sort of hold off and block up lanes, then like more scarier things like the Raven are not yet approaching. Let's draw a real card. Okay, that's great to have because we're gonna need. We're probably gonna win via massive ants. Mass of ants, not massive ants, but either one works. Okay, do we get lethaled by the adder? No, but our direwolf's gonna die. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because we're gonna kill them. Yeah, it is. Okay. Let's think before we draw. Right now, what happens? We're at 1 health. We do 1 with the cuckoo. We go to 2. The skink kills the leaping trap. The leaping trap replies by killing the skink. Their turn. The adder comes down. It comes 1. Does 1. The strange frog does 1. So we need to block 1 point of damage. And I don't want to give up any of my ants. And I don't really want to play my river snapper. But I think we should. Alright, what's the least scary lane to open? Center right. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a squirrel, and we're going to sacrifice the skink. No, that's not right. All the ones hitting on the diagonal open too many lanes. Okay. No. Direwolf Puff will just replace itself. Will replace something. And that will block. I don't want to get hit by the Raven. But I'll have healed a bit. If I block the center right lane, the River Snapper won't kill, will take a little while to kill them. That's the key. And we'll have healed enough with the Cuckoo, we can fight the Raven. There were probably many ways to deal with this. But I didn't want to figure out the Flying Ant situation. Because if we can play 3 ants, we win with 1 hourglass. Right? We've done that before. Let's draw a real card. We have time. We go to 3 health here, which is huge because it means the Raven won't be a problem shortly. Incidentally, that Porcupine ability, if you have Death Touch with it, anything that attacks you is killed by it, which is a pretty funny combo. Right? They just tried to play more cards, but they couldn't enter the board. Let's get more squirrels because we'll need to play 3 ants. Right now we have 2 ants we can play. Okay, we're going to go to 4 health here, and our snapper will die. So then we'll go down to 2. Oh, I forgot we'd play that. That's actually fine, though. That's great, actually, because that will kill the Raven next turn and won't get killed by the Raven, and we healed enough that we're good on that front. Okay, that's excellent. And that will do a ton of damage to its lane. So now we have 2 Aqua Squirrels for our 2 ants. Let's see what we can draw from the main deck. Okay, a 3rd ant. So we need a 3rd squirrel. No, we can use the Cuckoo as our 3rd squirrel. And we're going to play just 3 ants, and then we'll use an hourglass, and we will certainly do enough damage in the square in front of the direwolf. Yeah. And that counts as an ant for our purposes as well. Okay, we beat the boss with 1 hourglass needed. And we have another for the final boss. And it also means we could pick up items maybe before then. Actually, let's draw from main deck. Did I put items on the mealworm? I did. No. What did I do? I put corpse maggots on the pack rat. It's a little slower to play. Okay. So we're going to play the hourglass. Make sure we don't screw this up. Flying ant. Squirrel. Could play the bunny, but nope, that's not it. Squirrel. Flying ant number 2. And then flying ant number 3. And we did it. Final boss. Here we come. Oh boy. Maybe ants is better than I thought, but I think we got insanely lucky. I think this was absurd luck. Yeah, we don't even we're kind of close to getting the kill. Maybe there was a way to get the kill without using the hourglass, but I wasn't gonna find it. I don't think. I want to draw the pack rat because I wanted to get another item draw just to see what it is, but I guess we don't get it. All right, final boss. We have an hourglass going in. I guess I'm worried that we'll be able to do 80 damage because ants die so quick. So I'd love to get magical bleach so that we have the second phase covered. So I think we're going items, as I usually do with final boss. All right, maybe we'll get a fun card here. I would love another flying ant. All right, none of that is it. Let's take the Raven. Let's take the Raven. Maybe I should take the Elk because it's easier to bounce it around and avoid the cannon fire with the Elk on the final boss. But, okay. I'm hoping for Magical Bleach or a Turner here. We don't need to go to the Woodcarver. We don't need to go to Pelts. I don't know what I'd sacrifice. Our deck's pretty solid. So, okay, items it is. Let's just get lucky. Let's get a Turner or Scissors or Magic Bleach. Beautiful. All right, that makes the final boss easy because we're actually just going to fly over it, which is going to be beautiful. There's a challenge to beat the final boss, though it's the normal final boss. This pirate thing is an alternate final boss for Skullstorm, basically. But there's a challenge to beat the normal final boss without actually killing it. And if you use the magical bleach on it, you can fly over it. It's like one of a Steam achievement or whatever they're called. You can. I don't like achievements in games, by the way. I think they drive you to do things that aren't that fun. It's nice when they drive you to do something that shows you can explore the game in a game you weren't, a way you weren't. But not for me. I guess we play the Cuckoo to block the center right lane. That's not it. And that lets us get the worker ant out, but we probably don't play that till next turn. Please be nice on the egg. Thank you. And we just take -1 per turn here, which is fine. Oh, I forgot they could, actually, this is kind of scary, but I forgot they can cannon fire away the broken egg. So what are we going to do about that? How much are we taking here? 4. Okay. So I need the mole seaman on the left to block, not the far right. I need the far right one to stay where it is. I don't know how to control that. I don't know which it's biased towards. But either way, we don't get lethal here. Nope, that's not. I can't put that there. Oops. Okay, because I can't break the egg. So we're going to do 1 damage. We go to 4. They don't kill us back because they will have to block the center. Okay, so we don't die here. Hopefully they block. Yes, that's fantastic. Okay, that was, I mean, we survived both ways at least this turn. So this turn's going to be scary. That's a 2/3 flyer. And our Cuckoo's going to die. So we have to get our Raven out. The thing blocks flying. I don't want to use the magic bleach. Alright. I'm going to draw a real card. No. I don't want to break the egg. I'm going to draw this. We're at 2. So we are not killed. We are not killed by the parrot. Okay, if I play the Raven, we survive the parrot because we go to 3. Okay, so I'm going to get the Raven down. It's really scary to have an empty hand here. Do we sacrifice the Cuckoo? No, we don't, because then we would die. We wouldn't go to 3. Yeah, so we need the Cuckoo to get 1 hit in. This way, we're ready to block the 2/1 next turn. We survive at 1 health. I don't need to use the Hourglass. I probably should, though. But we go to 3. We survive everything. We haven't broken the egg, which is good. I would love to get an ant behind the egg where the Cuckoo is. Okay, this turn we're going to do 3. And we're going to take 4. And we're at 1. So I think this is going to be the Hourglass turn. Hourglass. This way we heal up 3 life. We get to 4. They'll pass. We got to be careful about the cannon fire here. Yeah. Because our Direwolf pup is very likely to die to the cannon fire. because what's going to happen is our Raven's going to hit, then they're going to come down, hit the Raven will die, it'll get replaced by the Direwolf Pup, and then the cannons will fire. And so the only safe place for me to put it is to sacrifice the worker ant. So I think we sacrifice the worker ant and the Raven. We go to 5, we go down to 1, but we live and we have a card in hand. And at least we can then start drawing. This is tough. This is tough. As long as they don't kill the Direwolf Pup next turn, hitting for 4 is gonna, at least go even with them for a while. So please give me 1 turn of the Direwolf, 2 turns of the Direwolf Pup. Shame they broke the egg. Oh my god. Hates me today, or this game. Alright, that's okay though. We go to 5, we go to 1. Nothing to be done this turn. Please don't play a card next turn, or please make it be a skeleton proof. We go to 1. Really hanging just on. Dies. Hopefully they're out for this round. Okay, so we can draw a real card. Hopefully start getting ready to have a flying ant mass. Okay, I think they're out for this round. So I'm going to try to get set for the next round. Yeah. Yeah, let's be as equipped as we can, even though I might come close to decking myself doing this, but we have such a good answer to the final form. We can just fly over and kill it with flying ants. So the stage that's gonna kill us is the next stage of this fight. If we beat that, the Bleach wins. So I just really, and it wins quick. So I can draw a lot of cards here. And 3 ants ends the phase, right? 3 ants does 9. Okay, that's nice. We'll get to draw another item. So I think now I'll start drawing some squirrels. Because now when they kill one of our ants, we're good. And we're going to put all our ants... Oh, let's wait one more turn. Let's wait one more turn. I just really don't want to have no firepower next turn. So we got another squirrel. Just make sure we'll be able to play things. Okay, and we'll play this flying ant. But we need flying ants for phase 2 as well. So we can't have used all our flying ants up. So I still have 2 in hand. So we need to fly over. No, I have 3 in hand. I have 3 flying ants in hand. And I want to have 3 in hand to beat the second phase convincingly. So that's, right now that does how much damage? That's 8. So we just need 1 more damage this turn. I guess we only have flying ants to do it. So, okay, but I want 3 flying ants in hand. So maybe we put out the river turtle? Sure, why not? Put out the stupid river turtle. Terrible card. Hate this card, but that's a 9th point of damage. Wait. Yeah, we do need 9. So we'll put out the river turtle. That gets us to 9. And I'm just being a little careful about our flying ants because I need 3 for the second phase. Or I think I need 3. Apologies if the screen just got brighter on your end for a sec. Did for me. Decided it wasn't connected to power, which is weird, but I think our power has been going odd of recent. Alright, that's fun. Get a new pack rat. Oh, that's wonderful. Alright, one of the seamen is killed. And let's draw a real card. Okay. I think so we can use the Ant Queen to boost our ants as well. much damage are we doing here? I think we're surely doing enough to clean out this phase. In fact, let's put a fourth ant out. Let's just go all ants and have the ants carry in the victory. Oh, beautiful. Never had the ant deck work this well before. Never. Not even close. Um, Bifurcated strike off the totem. Absolutely giving us the run. And we do way overkill. And now it would be really scary to have to do 80 damage, because even though this does 16 damage, they all die immediately, and we have to refill out our board, and we just can't fill out our board that often. But the Bleach brings us home. Because if you look at the ship's abilities, it has 80 health, but it also has abilities. I assume you can fly over it like you can the moon. I've never actually flown over it before, but I assume it works the same way. The rules of this game tend to be, consistent. Yeah. So it has block flying, it has hit every square, and it has immune to instant kill. But if we use the bleach, it loses all of those. And did we just do it? Game? We did it. Oh, ants! I did not enjoy the time I took, 15 runs to beat ants. This is much more relaxed. Yeah, so we needed incredible totem luck this time. I do think probably on average the correct ant strategy is to try to move away from them. But here we saw it paying off to really play with the ants. And one thing I like about the runs I've had here is most of the successful runs have been doing what the deck wanted to do, which I don't think is always right. And one of the reasons I think it's like playing the vanilla deck, for instance, is cool is because you can end up doing a variety of things the deck doesn't want you to do particular things. But it was cool to actually see the ants work here. I still think it's bad deck. I think your odds of getting like, let's say you see two carvers, right? Let's say there's a 50% chance to get a good, to get the insect head between the two. The odds that you will get a good ability and it will be at the one you didn't see the head from because you have to take the head, it's got to be like 10% tops total. Like the odds of this have got to be really low. Now, there's a decent chance, or not a decent chance, but there is some chance you see three carvers before the first boss, and then your chance of seeing something good might be decent. But you really have to seek out carvers early, and I think if you don't see a carver before you've made kind of any choices, you have to commit away from ants, I think. I think this is just too unreliable. Speaking of unreliable, we're on to the final deck, and it is the Waterborne deck, and it's just three horrible cards that are horrible to use, and you, I think, have to transition off it, and it's a nightmare. So look forward to that next time. Till then, victory for the ants. And they actually got to like strut their stuff, They played well here. Wild.